You Booked It, episode 55. Hey, entertainers and performers of the world. I'm your host, Dane Reese, and welcome to You Booked It, where I chat with inspiring entertainment professionals 7 days a week. By digging into their journey, we're going to discover everything you need to do to have a successful entertainment career. You know, because training usually skips that part about how to actually make your skills work for you in the real world. Fellow entertainers, my drive here at You Booked It is to share the inspiring and incredible journeys of successful entertainment professionals. We're here to support your journey. So go to youbookeditpodcast.com and join the You Booked It email community, where we dig deep into truly actionable things you can be doing right now to book that next audition, submission, or gig. If you enjoy this free podcast, please show your support and search for You Booked It on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app, where you can subscribe so you don't miss an episode, leave a rating, and review. And now, let's do this. Okay, let's get started. I am excited to introduce my guest today, Ross Gibson. Are you ready for this, Ross?
I am ready, Dane.
All right. Ross competed as an international tumbler for his home nation of Great Britain for many years. He won several world and European medals, and his greatest achievement was the silver medal at the World Cup final in 2002. After earning a dance and musical theater degree from the prestigious Lane Theatre Arts in Surrey, Ross moved to Las Vegas in 2004 to begin his career as the lead role of Redbird in Cirque du Soleil's Mystere at Treasure Island. Ross has also performed as the lead character of the Trickster in Cirque's Cusa and Mr. Piggy in Love. He also owns the nation's leading body painting company, Skin City Body Painting, with his business partner, Robin Slonina. And in any spare time he has, he artistic directs Circus Couture, a prestigious annual charity show combining circus, fashion, and arts to raise money for pediatric cancer research for a local childhood cancer clinic, where they have raised over $2 million for the cause. Ross, that is a quick intro of who you are and what you've done, but why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself? Fill in the gaps, who you are, and a little bit more about what you do as a professional in the entertainment industry.
So, my name is Ross Gibson, that you covered, and I do perform currently in Cirque du Soleil's Mystere at Treasure Island Hotel and Casino. When I say currently, I do mean pre and post COVID times, as performances have temporarily closed in Las Vegas and across the nation now. But yes, I play the character of the Redbird, which is a very acrobatic dance character. I kind of weave my way in and out throughout the show, and do one of the main acrobatic acts called the Teeter Board and Power Track Act. And that stems from the sport that I competed for Great Britain in, which was the sport of tumbling, which basically running down a 40-meter track and performing a series of tumbling acrobatic elements down. And I combine that with dance to put together kind of an elegant, artistic, acrobatic bird character that I play in Cirque du Soleil's Mystere. Personally, about myself, I've been married to my husband for 5 years, coming on 6 years now, and we have a beautiful 5-year-old daughter named Ciela.
Fantastic. I love that. And I love that you said that in your role as the Redbird, that you like to bring a bit of some elegance to the entire role. And I could not agree more, because I've seen Mystere a couple times, and hands down, I feel like you're dancing better than many of the dancers, and you're doing the acrobatics cleaner than many of the acrobats. It's amazing. You're such a star and such a highlight in that entire show.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's move on to the next section here. And look, Ross, I am a sucker for a good quote. What's your favorite quote you'd like to share with our listeners?
My good quote, I think, is that you make your own fate. I've always been a true believer in that, and decisions that you make will eventually lead you on whatever path you're supposed to lead on, and you're the one who chooses that path with whatever life decisions you take. So you make your own fate.
And do you have any specific instances in your career where you can attribute that to, and some really big highlights?
I suppose if if you will, with Cirque du Soleil. I had auditioned for Cirque du Soleil back in 2000, and they had chosen me for some of their shows then after the audition, but I'd turned them down, even though I knew that Cirque was a very prestigious company to work for. I turned down a lot of the roles because I wanted to be playing a character in the show, and to be able to be used for whatever, for the assets that I had to offer.
Hmm.
And so they were quite taken aback by somebody who auditioned for them and then suddenly turns down an opportunity. Even I went to workshops at their headquarters in Montreal, and we did 3-week, 4-week workshops, and they would offer a contract to people that they liked, and I turned them down because none of the roles were that I felt were right for me and really embodied everything I could offer. So I suppose that was kind of me making my own fate by holding out for something I really believed in, that was right for me, and that was something I was willing to settle in for.
I love that. I love that you knew what you wanted and you said, I'm not going to settle for anything less. I love that. And let's go to this next section now. And of course, Ross, you are an entertainer. I am an entertainer. And I think that you'd agree that this industry can be one of the most subjective, brutally honest, and personally emotional industries in existence. And you know as well as I that in order to create and to have a successful career in this industry like you're having now takes a lot of dedication and hard work. And while, of course, yeah, there is an outrageous amount of fun and excitement doing what we do, there are also our fair share of obstacles and challenges and failures we are going to experience and we're going to have to move forward through. So tell us, what is one key challenge, obstacle, or failure you've experienced in your career, and how did you come out the other side better because of it?
I think in the industry that I work in, we're doing 10 shows a week. We're doing really high level acrobatics, high level dance. You're doing a lot of the same movements over again. There's a lot of repetitive strain injuries that can come with what we do, with performing 470 shows a year is what we perform.
Wow.
And so I think it's learning how to change things up enough and to let your body cope with going through the rigors of doing that many shows, the same tricks over again, the same landing positions over again, the same leaps on the same leg. It's knowing how to be able to go against your comfort zone and do something that you don't necessarily feel comfortable with, but just because it's actually it's saving your body and it's saving those unnecessary injuries that just landing on the same leg the same way will do year after year, show after
Absolutely.
show.
I can absolutely relate to that because it can be the most simple little moves. It could be just a little little bot by, and it doesn't even have to be that intense of a move or that impressive, but it's that repetition that breaks those muscles down so much over time. The next thing you know, you're out on injury. So I love that you have consciously taken a moment to think about, okay, how can I still do this choreography? How can I still do the role properly and effectively, but still do it healthily so I can do this long term? So important. Such incredible advice as well for anyone listening out there. And
Thank you.
you bet. And next, I want to move on to this section that I like to call your spotlight moment. That one moment in time that you realized, yes, I am going to be an entertainer for a living. Or maybe it was, yes, this is what I need to be doing as an entertainer. Tell us about that.
I really remember the very first musical theatre show I saw, which was the musical Cats by Andrew Lloyd Webber. I was maybe 10 years old, and we had the front row seats. And I remember the Cats start with all the cats come out of anywhere and sing the first song, to the audience, and they really just focus on one person and sing it to that person. And this female performer focused on singing it to me, and I was just captivated by this connection I had with the audience. Sorry, with this performer, and how she captivated me, and how she just had pulled me into her performance. And I remember then thinking that that's what I wanted to do, to perform on stage. And I think it was my first ever day in the musical theatre school at Lane Theatre Arts, when it was the first time I'd really actually had to kind of sing and dance and act in that first class where they were just working out where everyone's niche was. And I didn't have a great voice, but I could dance and I could act, and I could hold a note, I guess. And I think that was the first time I was around other people who'd come all over the country to perform at this college and to train and learn from some of the best teachers. And I think it was then that I realized that I had chosen the right path, and that was where I wanted to be. Whether it was going to be musical theatre or not, it turned out not to be, but I knew that performing was the right career path.
Yeah, I love it. It's such a good feeling when you found your people, you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I want to piggyback on that question, and let's talk about your number one booked it moment. Walk us through that day and the audition and callbacks, if they happen to be a part of it. What was going on in your life, and what about that moment makes it your favorite booked it moment?
I think something that very interesting that happened with me with the Performing Arts College, Lane Theatre Arts. There was a huge you had to audition to get in, and it was kind of later in the year, very much past all the sign up process, that I had decided that was where I wanted to go. And I'd called them up, and I was just about to finish my university college degree, which was French and business, very different to what I actually
Yeah.
do. And I remember speaking to the administration people at the college and then saying, "I'm sorry, it's too late. The audition's tomorrow. It's too late to sign up, but you could get in next year." And I wouldn't let them off the phone with me. I said, "No, I have to do it. I have to do that tomorrow. I will. Please, I'm just one person. You've got to be able to fit me in." And I really had to push for myself. And at the end, I think I pushed so much that I had kind of bothered the lady on the other end of the phone, that this guy just kept pushing and she kept saying no. But she said that when she hung up the phone, something just nagged away at her, that I wanted it so much. I was so driven to do it that I was getting to the point of getting upset that I couldn't turn up, that she decided to call me back and tell me that a position had become available. Somebody had pulled out, and I could have it. That just that audition position, that audition place. And I remember that was the point. I hadn't even auditioned yet. I might not even get the audition, but I remember thinking, wow, that was what I needed to do. I really needed to prove to someone how much I wanted this. And then it's up to me to prove how much I can do it after that. So just the fact I got that audition, which I shouldn't have done because I was way beyond all the rules and regulations of the time of when I should have applied for the audition. I really got it because of how much I convinced her that it was right for me to be there and it was right for them to have me in a way. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it was before anything happened. It was the kind of the start of it that I realized that I booked it.
Yeah, I love that though, because it's also proving that, like you said, you have to be your own best advocate. You're the only one really looking out for you, and especially in this industry that's so competitive. And to learn that lesson straight away, just getting that audition is massive. It's a lesson that many people don't get the pleasure of experiencing much later into their careers.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take a moment to talk about the present. What projects are you working on now? What are you looking forward to? And of course, we are amidst this crazy global pandemic. How do you see the entertainment industry moving forward in the next couple of years?
I honestly don't have the confidence that every single show that there was in the nation or in the world that was performing right up until March 15th, when I say that I call it the world ended. That
Yeah.
was the week where day by day everything was shutting down. First of all, it was the sporting world, NBA shut down. Then we were told the shows were shutting down. Then the casinos were shut down. Then schools. It was that week. I don't believe every show is going to be able to come back. Unfortunately, do have high hopes for the Cirque du Soleil resident shows in Las Vegas. I think they'll be easier to come back, and hopefully people have been staying in shape enough to be able to get back into their shows.
Yeah.
So at the moment, the only thing that I can do for my role, is to keep my body fit and healthy. Las Vegas Circus Center has opened up, which has a power track and great training facility. So I'm training there. as much as I can. And the other things that I'm having to do is just focus on different revenue, financial revenue ideas. And fortunately, I do have the body painting company with my partner Robin, and my husband as well is an artist. But all the jobs that we had there, all the corporate jobs where we would body paint models to fit a client's brand or logo or signature colors and send our performers out to perform at all these different events, those are not happening either. But we've actually moved into the art gallery world, and we've found a great art gallery in Summerlin in Las Vegas, which is kind of the high-end area of Las Vegas. And the gallery is called Art to Art at Tivoli Village, and we've done so many body paintings of models over the years that we've also documented these great works of art with brilliant photographs and pictures, and it's such amazing artwork of body art, we call it, modeling of beautiful models with beautiful artwork on them, and then combined with great photography as well, it has made these great pictures. So we're actually making a lot of these pictures into a collection to sell in the Art to Art gallery. And we're actually working on a whole new collection called the Living Wallpaper Collection, which is where we find fabrics that really inspire us, fabrics or patterns, and we body paint the models to match, kind of to camouflage into that fabric. And then when we get the pictures done and made into a canvas portrait, we frame it on a background that has that fabric on the background. So you have this kind of 3D perspective image of the fabric pattern, and then a model painted as that pattern. And then that's framed in a beautiful frame as well. And it's something that's really combining, fabric patterning with artwork, with photography, with modeling. So it's kind of combining all the mediums of the art world. So that's something we're doing. It's one of the only things we can do at the moment, but it's just, got to come up with ideas, got to keep creative and busy.
Absolutely. And that is such an amazing idea, what you're doing, and combining, creating all of those different art forms. Like you said, wow, I definitely need to stop by and have a look. And
please do.
Let's move on to one of my favorite sections of the interview. I call it the Grease Lightning Round. I am going to ask you a handful of questions. I want you to answer them as quickly and concisely as possible, one after another. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, first question. What was the one thing holding you back from committing to a career as an entertainer?
My voice.
Second question. What is the best piece of advice you have ever received?
Stay true to yourself.
Love it. Third question. What is something that is working for you now? Or if you'd like to go pre-COVID, what was working for you before our industry went on pause?
Moving into more of a directorial side of stage instead of being on the stage.
Fantastic. And the fourth question. What is the best resource, whether that is a book, a movie, a YouTube video, podcast, maybe a piece of technology that you found is helping your career right now?
I would say YouTube videos. I really would. YouTube videos of performers, hand balancers, dancers, artists, just seeing what everyone else is doing out there in the world, and that being enough motivation to keep me doing it as well.
Absolutely. YouTube is such an amazing resource for almost everything, I think. And The fifth question. If you had to start your career from scratch, but you still had all the knowledge and experience you've collected from your career in this industry, what would you do or not do? Would you do anything differently, or would you keep it the same?
I'm happy with everything I did. I would have kept it the same. Yeah, I really would.
Love it. And the last question. What is the golden nugget knowledge drop you've learned from your successful career in the industry that you'd like to leave with our listeners?
When it comes to performing on stage and performing with others and performing for an audience, trust your instincts. If something's not feeling right for you, it probably means it's not right to be done.
That is such incredible advice. Artistically, from the very practical standpoint of the physical part of things for injury and things like this, such good advice. And to wrap up this interview, it is time to give yourself a plug. Where can we find you? How do our listeners connect with you? Is there anything you want to promote?
Right at the moment, we're really going ahead with everything with Skin City body painting. So you can find us at Skin City or on our website, www.skincitybodypainting.com. Pretty much if you just put in body painting Las Vegas, SEO is pretty huge. So we come up right there. And you can always find me at Ross Redbird on Instagram, and lots of pictures of me as the Redbird and of my gorgeous family.
Fantastic. And for everyone listening out there, I have put all the links to everything Ross just said in the description of this episode, so you can go ahead and check them out. Ross, thank you so much for being on the show today. It has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us today. My one call to action for you is to go to youbookeditpodcast.com and join our free email community, where we dig deep into a continually growing resource of truly actionable things you can be doing right now to help advance your entertainment career. Don't miss an episode. We have a new guest 7 days a week. Search for You Booked It on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app and subscribe today. All the best to you. We'll see you tomorrow.